This world does not encourage us to search for God. When we have needs, the last place the world tells us to turn is to Him. But those who believe know what they have. We have a God who listens and a God who responds. The gospel message is shocking to many, shocking because of its implications. What once required special sacrifices and representative priests has been fulfilled by Jesus and is now available to any who believe. We have been given direct access to God Himself. The Bible encourages us to come to God with boldness. Our boldness in approaching Him does not come from our words or our achievements. Instead, it's based on God's promises. The Scriptures are full of His promises to us. So we ask, remembering His power and faithfulness, and we encourage those around us to do the same, to believe boldly. As a beggar, Bartimaeus likely sat along the road. Word came that Jesus was approaching. By this point in his ministry, Jesus was becoming well known and regarded as a great teacher and miracle worker. Even as Jesus approached Jericho, where Bartimaeus sat, the crowd had already formed. They followed Jesus and probably listened as He taught and answered questions as He often did. But Bartimaeus wasn't able to follow Jesus or the crowd. He was blind. His life had been limited to that daily routine of begging and sitting in the same spot. He knew who Jesus was, what Jesus could do, and he knew Jesus would be passing by and then perhaps be gone. So over the crowd, Bartimaeus began to shout, "Jesus, have mercy on me! Jesus, have mercy on me!" The crowd didn't appreciate the interruption. Mark records that the crowd became irritated with Bartimaeus. They began to yell at Bartimaeus, "Be quiet!" It's ironic, isn't it? I'm sure they had all kinds of reasons for silencing this increasingly loud beggar. They may have thought Bartimaeus isn't polite, he's being disruptive and disrespectful, you can't interrupt Jesus. But the more they insisted the beggar be quiet, the louder he got. Jesus heard him, and far from criticizing him, Jesus invited Bartimaeus to come forward. "What do you want me to do for you?" Jesus asked. Bartimaeus wanted to see, and so Jesus healed him. What made Bartimaeus so relentless? Well, certainly he was desperate. Bartimaeus was desperate for healing and knew that this might be his only chance, a chance that could pass as quickly as Jesus passed by. No opinion of the crowd was going to keep him from trying. But I think Bartimaeus sensed something else. I think he sensed something about Jesus. I think he sensed that Jesus had both power and compassion. Bartimaeus was willing to risk his reputation on that. What else did he have to lose? There is a kind of pride that can keep us from recognizing or admitting our needs. Not wanting to appear desperate or needy, we keep the need to ourselves. But not Bartimaeus. He wasn't afraid to ask for exactly what he knew he needed. Even as the crowd around him objected, he wouldn't be discouraged. Not when Jesus was this close. The Apostle James put it in a shockingly simple way. You don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it. Now, James understood that motives and desires are a critical part of our receiving from God, but he also understood that too often we struggle to really ask for what we need. Perhaps that's you. It is hard to admit we need things. It's hard to raise your voice in the crowd and risk looking needy. But Jesus is listening. And He's listening for a request made by faith. Faith that recognizes its own need and faith that recognizes Jesus as its fulfillment. That kind of faith, determined, humble, and unrelenting, is a voice that stands out from the crowd. It's a voice Jesus always hears. Are you willing to ask?